This episode of The Patch is brought to you by Hulu Plus. Hulu Plus lets you binge on thousands of hit shows, anytime, anywhere, on your TV, PC, smartphone, or tablet. Support this podcast and get an extended free trial of Hulu Plus when you go to huluplus.com/roosterteeth. That's huluplus.com/roosterteeth. This episode of The Patch is brought to you by Shadow Warriors.
You love the double intro.
I love the double intro.
Do you feel like you need it? You need some validation there?
It's got to be Gus, Jack, Ryan, Gus. It's like I'm the headliner, and you also save the best for last.
So did you do that unintentionally one day, and now you have to do it just to make
I did it.
Like, oh no, I do it every time.
No, one day I was introducing, and I started with me, and then I got to the end. It was a regular podcast, and I said Bernie. I was like, fuck it. Why does he get top billing? And Gus, all the way around.
The nice symmetry completes the circle.
You'd be like, the podcast with Gus, also starring, and then list off everyone else. Then featuring Gus.
Featuring Gus, yeah. That's what we're starting doing.
Hey, it's a podcast.
We're here at the Patch. Here we talk about video games.
We
It's
are.
on everyone's mind. Pokemon XY comes out this weekend.
Yeah.
This is the crew to talk about it too.
Super
right?
fucking excited. I've been
Are you really?
doing my homework.
Is that a chromosomal thing? Is that what the X and Y is about? Is it like one's for guys and one's for girls? Or?
I hope not, because I was planning on buying X.
Oh, wow.
I wonder if that says
I don't know what that
anything
says about you,
Well, there
really.
you go.
But yeah, I've been trying to read up and learn about Pokemons.
All the Pokemons. Wait, have you played Pokemon before?
No,
right?
I've never played a single
All right.
Pokemon game.
So you've never played? Have you ever played single
No,
Pokemon?
not
I
a-
have not played Pokemon.
So I figure
Crack
it's
squad to talk about it.
Obviously, a huge franchise. It's something I missed out on. So it's like you can't ignore it forever. So I'm gonna start playing.
Yeah, no, you can. You can absolutely ignore it forever. You can just pretend it doesn't exist.
Nah. Then you lose street cred as a gamer.
Really?
Do you think Pokemon XY is really going to accumulate street cred?
At the middle school, it will.
Yeah, I mean, it's like...
Hey man, I play Animal Crossing. Don't judge me.
If your
true.
street is Sesame Street, then yeah. But otherwise, I don't think so.
Well, so do you know if X and Y are going to take any of the sort of Street Pass style things and incorporate them into the new game? Because I imagine that's like a cool thing that like Animal Crossing does, where it actually incorporates like the play coins into the game. Do you know? Have you heard anything about Pokemon?
I don't know if there's gonna be any play coin integration. I assume there will be.
Yeah.
But of course, there's always like the battling with other players.
Yeah, I guess so.
So
Like the Street Pass and Spot Pass and all that's one of the coolest things about the Nintendo consoles. It's like that the way they incorporate all that stuff, and they actually it sort of brings back the whole like you want to like the arcade style where you have to get close to your opponents. You
must get in close for the kill.
I mean,
I picture you look at the 3DS at someone's throat.
Well, that was like my big thing. Like back in the day, there was nothing better than playing like Mortal Kombat and being shoulder to shoulder with the guy you were playing with. It's like, and that's like it adds a whole other level of gaming of like mind games as well. It's like, okay, I'm gonna like take a little bit more room, use my elbow a little bit more.
You were one of those players.
Oh, dude, I was
shouldering people out of the way. That's
absolutely.
I played a game of Street Fighter 2 when I was in Tokyo.
Oh yeah.
And over there, the game, I don't know if all Street Fighter 2 machines are like this, but instead of being two players side by side, it was two machines back to back.
Yeah, they do that
so,
now.
Like I was playing by myself, like one player, then it's like a challenger appears. I was like, what? And I was like, looking around, I was like, I had to like look over the cabinet, like, oh, he's on the other side of the.
That's
on the other
funny.
side of the machine.
So is that like? I mean, did the machine have like another joystick set up next to you, or was it just had one centered up?
Just had one in the center.
Huh. That's crazy.
Yeah. So, and I did not win.
Oh, who were you playing as?
I was Ryu.
Okay.
So we ended up going to 4 rounds. We went 1-1, then we drew on the 3rd round.
Wow, you drew.
Yeah. Then
Damn,
I lost at a close one on 4.
Huh.
So you think they're trying to work kind of retroactively to get truth in advertising? Because I don't know if you remember, but a lot of the commercials for things back in the day was always, two kids that come together and like throw down their thing and like, time to battle, and they would all have this intense thing. Is that what they're going for now? You proximity battle? Like you got to be in their face?
Oh, kind of like the thing. Yeah. So you talk about what you like there with the 3DS, like being close to someone. The downside to like gaming with your friends on 3DS is the whole friend code exchange.
Yeah, that's kind of pain.
It's like, here's my 12-digit code. Add me as a friend and send me your 12-digit code.
Well, they have a thing if you're within within a certain distance of each other, you can actually transfer over the Wi-Fi. So that's cool. So that takes that out of it. So like if we're at this table, we could all share ours within each other. So
You just bump consoles or
yeah,
rub them together?
Exactly.
It just creates like an ad hoc network, and they see each other.
And so yeah, that's at least that has happened now as opposed to the number thing. But like Nintendo never got with it as far as the online profile stuff. like I bought a 3DS for Katie, and I put a game on it. Like I bought Legend of Zelda for it. And I'm like, oh, when it's linked to my account. When I get my own, I'll just transfer it over. No, that doesn't happen.
Yeah.
Like it's all tied to one single handheld, one single console.
Tied to hardware, rather.
Oh, yeah,
than-
hardware.
Yeah.
I did the same thing. I lost my Fire Emblem because of that.
Yeah, it's like I don't understand the reasoning behind that, And then if you lose it, if like it's
Well, it's easy. They don't have to do any work.
Yeah, I guess
It's
there's
like-
no cloud system that's
Yeah,
behind that.
one and done.
Yeah.
But then again, if you lose your console, or you lose your 3DS, whoever picks it up, they've got all your games. So I don't know if I like that. I like the
It's
idea.
a weird
now.
hybrid of physical media and digital content.
It's
Yeah.
no different than like when you carry a 3DS around with like a pack full of games.
Yeah.
You
Yeah,
lose
I
the
guess
pack,
so.
you're going to lose all your games.
Yeah, I guess so. I guess it might actually be worse in that case. In this case, digital copies might actually be bad because it's a lot easier to have a bunch of one on one thing, and so you're not losing multiple things, just that one.
Right.
Well, that's
Anyway.
why nearly every other digital platform is cloud-based, just like
Yeah.
you're saying. So
Yeah.
it doesn't make any sense to have that system be that way. But they're
Yeah.
Nintendo; they can do what they want.
I was thinking about it for like when we get the Xbox One. Like right now, we have all of our games up on a shelf, and it looks pretty cool. You can even, kind of looks neat to see this big library of games. And when the Xbox One hits, we'll probably never buy another physical copy again. So it's
No.
gonna be like, oh well.
Well, you put other stuff on the shelf.
Oh,
now.
yeah.
You're
Yeah.
freeing up space.
But it's a little less impressive. You don't have the giant library of games.
If it make you
but-
feel better, I will print out a cover
Oh,
for
no.
every game, and we'll just put it on the shelf, and you
No.
can just reflect on it there.
I'm fine with it, man. Like
Okay.
it's a theft deterrent too. It's like someone can steal your console, but even then they're not going to get all your games.
Yeah.
So that's cool. I like that. It's just what we were talking
That's
about.
true, yeah.
So I'm all about digital delivery in the next gen.
Do you? So I'm kind of paranoid, I have my Xbox Live profile, and I have it downloaded to one of the consoles here at the office, the one at my desk. But I'm so nervous that someone's gonna fuck with me. I make it ask me for my password every time I
Really?
sign in. Yeah,
Oh wow.
because I know I'm not gonna do it. Then in the middle of the night, Bernie's gonna come and turn it on, and
Yeah, I was gonna say, do you think that's an innate paranoia or a learned
I think
paranoia
it's
from
learned.
this environment?
Yeah, from
Okay.
where we work. He's gonna drain all my Microsoft points buying picture packs and God knows what.
Well, I think we all have ours pretty much logged into our machines at all time, and it's kind of I think it's a gentleman's agreement where it's like, okay, no one's gonna fuck with each other. It's just because like we're all in the same room, we're not gonna do that. As far as I know, that's how it's gone so far. So
Yeah, until it doesn't.
until
No.
one thing goes wrong.
That's a slippery slope of retribution that I don't think any of us want to open that
Yeah.
Pandora box.
It's a wary truce that you have.
Yeah.
man.
I mean, I'll bury electronics in a guy's desk, but I'm not going to touch his profile.
don't mess with his head, but oh man, not his livelihood. So how what level are you now on Grand Theft Auto?
I think level 18 now.
Oh wow, okay, so you're not as high as I thought you would have been by now. Have you not been?
I don't play
much?
all day like you guys do.
Oh, yes, that's
I
your job,
read
man.
that they rolled out a patch to fix that one mission where you could do over and over for $9,000.
They did nerf it. There wasn't a digital. It wasn't actually a downloadable patch. It was just
It's a server
changed.
side.
Yeah.
Yeah, they've done a couple things, but there's still a few workarounds. There's still a couple ways you can kind of boost up a little bit. We won't get into them for fear that they might patch them.
Yeah.
But
They're out there.
There's definitely some ways you can earn some money pretty fast, and yeah, we've taken advantage of it a little bit.
And so you were already down. You lost a character.
I lost a level 24 character and with a $400,000 apartment.
Oh my
that
God.
I bought the apartments. Like we've been playing all afternoon. I finally bought the apartment. We all looked at it. It was like, this is perfect. This will be a nice base of operations for like the Achievement Hunter team because we can do heists eventually when they launch those. Great. And it's like, okay. And I'm like, all right, I will go back to single player. So I went to single player, saved it, went back to multiplayer. It was still there. I'm like, okay, I'm good. And so then I left and I went home. And the next day, a friend was over and I was like, oh, dude, check out this apartment I bought in Grand Theft Auto. And he's like, cool. Loaded up, character's just gone. It's just like, there is nothing. I'm just like, in that slot, there's just no character.
I love
there.
they have that warning message now that's like, do not hit the retry button. It's like, why do you have a retry button then?
Yeah, if you can patch in the warning, why not just patch out the retry? But
Yeah.
anyway, so so now I've had to start like after a couple days of moaning, I had to start a new character, and that character's actually like level wise further than I was on the other one, but has less money. So
Yeah.
but
I've been playing a lot of golf.
dude, golf is so much fun.
I can consistently get about 4 under now.
Yeah.
Last night I was probably on track to do like 6 or 7 under, but then I fucked up. And I ended up at 4 under. It's an earthquake. Ooh. And I actually ended up at 3 under. I really screwed up on one of the holes.
Oh really?
Yeah.
Yeah, the hole 6, I think that's your hole in one hole. Like, there's actually you can get a platinum medal for getting a hole in one, and then you get a platinum medal for getting 25 birdies.
I was playing with Adam Ellis and Finch Lynch last night.
Finch.
And Finch hit the pin on that hole.
Ooh.
He's so close.
I got it within a foot
rough.
once. Yeah, like I hit it and it spun back, and I was like, but it just barely missed it. So, oh well. Maybe like I think that's gonna be the one. Like hole 6, and there's another hole you can get pretty close. So
There's that one hole I hate where it's water on the right, a cart path on the left, and it's a really narrow fairway, and the wind is always blowing across. And the wind always either blows your ball out past the cart path or into the water. It's like you have to really manage that narrow fairway going up there. I think it's hole 7.
yeah, hole 4 or 5 is a good one. It's I think it's a par 4. And they try to force you, or they start you laying up on the course. But if you don't, if you switch to your driver and just like rip it as far as you get around it, it's awesome. You get on the green in one shot, and it's a par 4.
Yeah, this guy, you need to take him as your digital caddy.
yeah.
If you just aim a little to the left of the tree, take a forward.
You'll see me running around like an AK-47, like picking up the grass and dropping it, and watching the wind blow
Drop
away.
bullets.
Yeah, that texture actually won't deflect the ball. You can go right through that leaf. It's not a real leaf.
Now I wonder if in like DLC if they'll ever add more courses,
I hope so. It's only 9 holes.
That'd be cool if they have like almost like an island, like a rich island where they have mansions. Because one thing I figure they'll add eventually is more apartments. Like they're building that tower in the game. In GTA 5, you literally see a tower being built. I know with DLC they can basically complete that tower and then maybe make it where you can buy apartments in that game or in that tower. Because I have to figure you're going to be able to get a penthouse for like $100 million.
I'm kind of surprised, because the most expensive piece of real estate right now is only $400,000.
Yeah, and that seems really cheap.
And they're vehicles that are 1.5 to 2 million.
Yeah.
So real estate wise, that's really low.
Yeah, and I figure, there's a lot more cars than there are apartments, so you got to figure the apartment would be like the more expensive thing. Like, the most expensive one is $400,000. That's it. It's like, okay,
granted, it's nice.
Oh, it's very nice.
Really nice.
It's a cool area. It's a good view. You got a view of the ocean from where you are. But
I think I've only got like $70,000 in game right now.
What have you bought so far?
Just very minimum. Just guns.
Yeah.
I think I lost some money early on.
Okay.
I wasn't banking it, and then I think at one point my money disappeared.
Oh, really?
Like I had some, and they were just gone.
Huh.
So I've been having to struggle with that.
Yeah, the whole thing about like having money on you and getting killed or getting run over or whatever, or getting mugged, like it doesn't seem to work. Like it seems like every time I'm shot, I only lose like $100.
But you're only supposed to lose like $100 or $200.
Oh, really?
So later on, you can actually send muggers after people. I don't know how much, like, if they take a percentage of whatever you have on you.
Yeah. There's just a flat bounty that you place on those people.
No, not a bounty. You can actually call Lamar and have him send a mugger.
Oh, really?
Yeah, we did it earlier today. Just a random NPC near you will suddenly whip out a knife and just run at you and knock you over and take your money.
Wow.
So what you should do is hire a mugger and then wait for the mugger to rob you and then kill you when you're on the ground. So that way the mugger gets away with your money. Because if you kill the mugger, you get your money back. So that way you prevent the mugger from getting killed.
You get some of the money back. You lose some of it.
Yeah.
I think we did that on Jack earlier, and he actually made money on the exchange.
Yeah. I only had
you mugged him, like you robbed his corpse and took his money.
Because I had just enough money to buy an apartment and buy bulletproof tires for my car, so I think I had $400 on me. And so the mugger came and took like $2,000. I was like, where did that come from? And so I killed him and got more money than I started with. So I was like, all right, sweet, okay. So anyway, you get an achievement for it too. If you kill the mugger, you get an achievement for full refund, I think that's what
it's called. 10 gamer score.
So I think Ray did a guide for, or is doing a guide for it or something. But
nice.
God damn it, that game is so good, man. It's so, the fact that you, me, and Adam played golf for like an hour and a half, and it's like, this is Grand Theft Auto, and here we are playing golf, and we're having a really good time playing golf as well.
I realized also that there's like lawnmower background sound effects in that game. Because I was playing golf, and then like at 10 p.m. I was like, man, my fucking neighbor's mowing their lawn. I was like, oh, wait a minute, that's really good from the game.
It's so much fun. It's unfortunate right now. There's no easy way to set up a golf game privately.
Yeah.
Like you have to run in all at the same time and hope that one of you gets hosts, and then like we had to wait for someone to try to get out of our game. It was a huge pain.
And if you vote, if everyone in the party votes to kick someone else, they don't get kicked.
Yeah.
It doesn't happen, I think, until the next round.
Yeah, but in golf, this one round is all 9 holes.
Yes, until you complete that. Which in golf, you then just exit the game. There's no retry or anything, so it just kicks you right out. All of the mini game type things, darts, golf, tennis, all of them work like that. You can't just start them like any of the other jobs. You have to actually go to the location, and then it's one and done.
Yeah, and
which
then
is kind of weird.
But then you literally have to hope that you end up in the same game as whoever you go with. So we literally stood around it, like when we played, like we just stood around it, and all 4 of us had to go in at the same time. So that way we took up a whole space thing. Like it's pretty lame they have to do that kind of stuff. But oh well, maybe they'll fix that. This is an easy patch, I imagine, right? Hopefully, I don't know. Gaming.
I think their hands are a little full right now, trying to figure out where all these characters
trying
are going.
to restore a character. Now I'm at the point now where it's been almost a week since I lost my character, and it's like if you restore it, it's like okay, that's I'm already playing another character, so I might as well move on. So, but I wish like if they could just refund me the money, like here's all the money you spent with that character,
all that fake money.
Yeah, then I just transfer it to my other character,
or they just send you the hours back.
Yeah, that'd be great.
Yeah, which it wasn't that much. I mean, that was when we were running the Violet Duct thing a lot. You could get a lot of money very quick, but now that's gone.
Yeah, that one's been patched out. So, oh well.
So, did you guys see the opening 5 minutes of the BioShock Infinite Burial at Sea DLC?
No,
I don't want to watch that. I want to play that.
No, is it cool? No.
No. Well,
I'm not looking forward to it though.
Well, you didn't like BioShock
you weren't
1,
into
right?
I like BioShock 1.
Oh,
I love BioShock 1.
Okay.
It's a great game.
Well, then what's your problem with it?
I don't want to go back.
Wait, you didn't like Infinite?
I don't like Infinite.
Okay.
And I'm just afraid that they're going to screw it up. I don't want to go back.
How would that retroactively screw up the enjoyment you had in the very first game?
It's like Star Wars introducing midichlorians.
Yeah, that's a totally separate thing.
It's like still like they're revisiting this force sensitivity.
You
like, oh,
gotta compartmentalize that stuff away. And those were so different that it's hard to even relate them. Honestly, the trilogy and the trilogy, but. In BioShock, I think it's going to be the same thing.
I mean, I imagine too that BioShock 2 probably did more damage to the BioShock franchise than this will.
Man, yeah, I was not a fan of BioShock 2.
Yeah, so this is at least better than that. So it's a step up.
Great, it's at least better than total shit.
Yeah,
we can put that as a fucking tagline.
Yeah, I guess this is like the Revenge of the Sith. Where it's like, oh look, it's good, it's better than the first one. It's still bad. Still bad though. All right, well,
but yeah, they show the opening 5 minutes. It's mainly stuff that they've already released in the trailers, but now instead of like a trailer voiceover, you can actually hear what's going on. In the environment.
And it takes place basically pre-Revolution.
Yes.
Right. Okay.
Like Rapture at its prime.
Right. Which is that was actually one of the things I always liked about Infinite was you got to see it before it all got destroyed. There's
a screenshot.
Yeah. There's
Yeah.
All right.
Sweet.
Very pretty.
So that's a sign.
No
and
gods
behind
or
it,
kings.
you can see water.
Only man. So did that sign move? I thought that sign was at the like right when you walk in.
I think it was a recurring theme.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, it was at the base of the statue when you first walked. I'm sorry, not at the base. It was in a banner above the statue when you first walked in, but that's also there as well.
How dare you get that wrong?
I swear I know my games.
Oh man.
But yeah, I think I don't even know when that comes out actually.
Yeah. It's relatively soon, I imagine. Probably November.
See if I can look it up here.
Oh man, it's already October.
I know.
Jesus, what day is today? Today is the 9th, 10th if you're listening.
Yeah. And let's see, Black Flag comes out this month.
So we are
soon.
We are just over a month away from the PS4 and a month and a half from the Xbox One. I'm very, very excited for those consoles. I will say though, like my excitement has been tempered a little bit by GTA 5. Like, I'm having so much fun playing this. It's like, oh well, if this isn't going to be on the next console, it's like, all right,
it'll get there.
Yeah, I guess so eventually. I mean, at what point do you think they'll announce it for the next gen?
They
made $1 billion in
probably
3
whenever
days.
they announce it for the PC.
Yeah.
So in 3 or 4 months.
One can hope.
Probably after the holiday. They'll go through the holidays with it being for this current batch, and then January is what I would guess.
And with all the with all the cloud saving and the multiplayer stuff, maybe that'll mean the stuff will carry over to the Xbox or the next gen consoles. That would be great. I would love that.
I doubt it. It doesn't seem like any other game right now is doing that. Like they say that your progress, like if you play Ghost in the current generation, then you play the next one, that the save files don't carry over. Or progress doesn't. Single player progress doesn't carry over.
I know 4J was talking about possibly carrying over the Minecraft saves over to the Xbox One version of Minecraft.
Well, I mean, they brought that up a while back, and I have heard nothing since then. They said, "Oh, yeah, we'll look into that."
Well, we'll see.
There's one guy somewhere on a fjord.
Where's 4J based? Is 4J also in Sweden or wherever Mojang is?
They're Nordic, right?
Are they?
Yeah, somewhere in there.
I don't know. We should go out and visit them sometime.
Yeah. Also, you mentioned what would you say was coming out?
Black Flag.
Black Flag.
That's
right.
Let's say a couple weeks.
And then Battlefield 4 is in beta right now.
Well, Battlefield 4 and Black Flag come out the same day. I want to say it's the 29th of October.
Yes, I think you're correct.
Yes, that is correct.
Whatever that Tuesday is.
And also, I think the week after that is when XCOM Enemy Within comes out.
Oh, yeah.
It's like the first week of November.
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to that.
I got to go back and finish Enemy Unknown.
You never finished it?
No.
You never did?
Well, I got stuck on the part with the psychic powers or whatever.
Right.
And I couldn't figure out how to, like, I built the chamber and I had the guys, but I never figured out how to get them all lined up.
You just hit go, and he goes goes into the chamber.
You got to test. Not every soldier.
Well, yeah, once you get a guy
Works.
that's cyclically.
Yeah, no, I had a guy who was
leveled
like level 3 psychic power.
and then you have to test him, make sure he's compatible with the chamber, I guess.
Yeah.
But it's better if you have him all the way completely
Shit,
maxed.
you know what? I may have lost that save game when I lost my
Oh,
thumb drive.
shit.
Oh, god damn it.
What's a good chance for you to get refreshed on the game?
Yeah, I mean, honestly, it sounds like the way the game's going to work is it's just a replay of the first
Yeah.
thing. So that's maybe better for you. You get to
I
experience
guess
it all
so.
together.
Yeah, when it comes out, I'm definitely gonna play that.
Yeah, so
Take a shot at
the
that.
29th is when Assassin's Creed 4 and Battlefield 4 come out. So that's just in 3 weeks from yesterday. Cool. So,
Okay, here, let me read this thing.
Yeah.
all right.
To remind everyone that this episode of The Patch is brought to you by Hulu Plus. You've probably tried Hulu.com. Now with Hulu Plus, you can watch your favorite shows anytime, anywhere. Hulu Plus lets you watch thousands of hit TV shows and a selection of acclaimed movies on your television or on the go with your smartphone or tablet. And it all streams in HD for the best viewing experience. With Hulu Plus, you can watch your favorite current TV shows like SNL, Community, and Red vs. Blue. You can also check out exclusive content, including Hulu originals like The Awesomes starring SNL Seth Meyers and Moon Boy starring Chris O'Dowd from Bridesmaids. Hulu Plus also offers a great selection of acclaimed films. For only $7.99 a month, you can stream as many TV shows and movies as you want, wherever you want. Right now, you can try Hulu Plus for free for 2 weeks when you go to huluplus.com/roosterteeth. That's a special offer for everyone watching and listening. Make sure you go to huluplus.com/roosterteeth to get your extended free trial. So check it out. Go to huluplus.com/roosterteeth.
Hooray, extended free trials.
Extended free trial.
Nice.
2 weeks.
I watched the shit out of Quantum Leap on Hulu Plus recently.
Nice.
So you couldn't convince him to make the code Gus is super awesome, or
Maybe we'll get them to change their code too.
Man.
So we set that, and Beyond Two Souls came out this week.
oh yeah, to terrible reviews. Honestly,
That's the Ellen Page game, right?
Ellen Page, Willem
yeah, her
Dafoe.
second game. You know, she had a great one that came out a while back.
Apparently she got
There was
pissed off
some
about
legal
that.
action involved. I'm not really sure, but
Yeah.
Well, I mean,
it's like you
I
can't
can understand being upset if your likeness is.
Yeah,
I
I guess
mean,
so.
but it's like you can't just take somebody's likeness, make a game with it, and then sell it all over the world anymore. What are we coming to?
It's funny that we're getting close enough now.
Well,
where
Naughty Dog said it wasn't based on her.
Yeah. Well, it's funny that we're getting close enough now to like where your likeness in a game. It's like that's close enough to me in real life for me to make it like a real effort to say like that
Legal
is me.
claim on it,
Yeah.
yeah.
It's like okay, that's me. You know, you can't say that's not me because that looks just like me.
Yeah.
Yeah, like Brandon's pointing out, like that's like the NCAA lawsuit with EA
Yeah,
about
yeah.
player likenesses for NCAA college football.
Yeah. And so it's crazy we've hit that level of you know, I don't know what the word
Visual fidelity.
is. There you go.
Yeah.
Thank you, Gus. And yeah, but I mean, we're definitely getting there now. Where it's crazy. I mean, you play some games like, oh shit, that is Andy Serkis or that is Ellen Page or whatever.
Well, I think with Last of Us, they said they started with the voice actress for Ellie.
Oh really?
It was like the basis for the character, and when they first had that character, it looked a lot more like Ellen Page.
Really?
Then over time, they modified it to try to make it look less like her.
That's funny. Huh.
But yeah, so it supposedly wasn't intentional. But Beyond Two Souls, I bought it last night,
oh,
and my wife loved Heavy Rain, who's also made by the same developer. So she started playing it. But she had to stop playing because I was getting so angry at her because she would like forget the buttons and the controls, and I'd sit there like, "You just did it."
Yeah.
You know, I'm the worst person to have watching you play a game. But anyway, when you're installing the game, there's some interesting options. I haven't really gone in depth with it, but apparently you can play the game as 1 or 2 players simultaneously.
Oh wow.
what's the other player do?
I think the other player controls Aiden, like the Invisible Force character.
Oh, okay.
And you can also play the game with a DualShock controller or with your iPhone.
Huh.
So there's a Beyond Two Souls app you can download, and you can sync it with your PS3,
All right.
and you can play with it. And if you're playing 1 player, you can play with either the controller or the iPhone. If you're playing 2 players, the second player can either use. I think the second player
right.
has to use the iPhone.
That's cool. Yeah, we're starting
Interesting.
to see the second screen type stuff like that work in like Xbox Glass, like actually start to make sense on things. Like Xbox Glass, you can use it to use it as a keyboard,
Right.
Which that's super convenient for stuff. And I know for Assassin's Creed 4, you can use like an iPad or a second screen that will show your map.
It's a treasure map, right?
Yeah, it's like a treasure map. And so like stuff that pops up in the game, it'll actually pop up on your iPad. You can use it, like swap through and look at different stuff. It's like, I would actually use that. I would actually use this kind of stuff. It kind of, for me who makes maps like tutorial maps and stuff like the Grand Theft Auto one, it's kind of takes away from me because I like when people use my map. But whatever. It's
I use the
good.
shit out of your map.
That
for
map is
spaceship
awesome.
parts and
That Grand Theft Auto
GTA
map was really, really good. I'm really proud of that thing. So turned out good.
It's really helpful.
Yeah, there's a couple more things I want to add to it, but I don't know yet. So we'll see.
Yeah, but I'm curious to see good second screen integration. Like, I feel like a lot of times it can be clunky. Like, I don't want to play a game and have an iPad on my lap and be like, looking at my TV and looking down. And
well, I'm curious. Like, what was the Ubisoft title? Where it was like all the different squads and stuff fighting and like the big MMO open world.
The Division.
Yeah, the Division. Like where they had someone come in like using an iPad as like controlling a little drone who like marked a few guys, so got a few guys, and he's like, all right, I'm out and left. I want to see that. I want to see that kind of stuff. Absolutely. Where it's like a different game for that person, but in the same world. So that's what I think will be the next one.
That's great for that guy's KD ratio. He just pops in on an iPad, kills 5 people, and logs off.
Yeah,
like, fuck you, dude.
You took my kill.
Yeah.
But, oh well, like that's all, yeah. We are hitting sort of a new era of video games that are actually taking advantage of that stuff. And I think it's finally working where it's like, okay, this makes sense.
Yeah, I don't think I've seen a true great practical application of that yet.
But I think we're getting closer.
We're waiting for that like killer app where it actually works well.
Remember when DVD players had like, a second screen experience where you could like, like, oh, here's the plane they're flying in. It's like, oh, okay, that's...
the angle button.
Yeah.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
All right.
The only movies that ever used that were porn.
Porn, and I think maybe like the original Matrix DVD had some special features that used it, and that's about it.
It's like, because movies aren't designed to be interactive.
Yeah.
The directors and the editor are telling you a story, and they want you to see it the way that they presented it. They don't want you to fuck with the way that they're presenting it.
Exactly.
So it didn't make sense in that medium.
It's getting to the point, though, with the more complicated this gets, you almost need like a command center to interact with it properly. You need a chair that has a mount or something that you can have it and still interact here and still see things here.
Yeah. Have you seen the
peripherals? Get on it.
Have you seen the commander mode in Battlefield 4, where you can like watch all the different screens and control squads? And
well, that's actually a holdover from Battlefield 2142, Battlefield. They've had that mode in a couple things. They took it out in 3.
Okay, maybe that's what it was.
Actually, I played a lot of Battlefield 2142, and that was a lot of fun to do. Was being a commander because you could drop resources, you could command squads, you can airstrikes, that kind of thing.
So, are you a character on the field? And like
in 2142, you were.
So you were standing there, but if like someone got to you,
you were a guy with a suitcase, and you had to like run and get in a corner or something, and just pop it open, and you could put that down. And there was a lot of people when I would have fun doing this from time to time, where as a commander you have ammo drops, you had airstrikes, you have a bunch of things you could do, and you just run around like, oh, there's guys over there, drop an airstrike on them, go over there, clean up the last few guys. You have complete control over the battlefield around you.
So is there only one commander per team?
One commander per team, and it was an elected position essentially. I don't know how much of that carries over to this one, but I imagine it'll be pretty similar.
Yeah, I'm surprised we haven't seen more of that. Like, we've seen class-based games, but it's always like, an assault, a medic, a long range, and then like an engineer. Whereas, like, I wish they had like another level, which is like, like a commander, where it's like, okay, this guy controls the field and plays a completely different game than everyone else. Like, I think, what was the mech game? Chromehounds? Apparently Chromehounds had something, something like that.
It did. I think a command module you could install that would let you do that sort of thing.
Natural selection does that too.
Yeah. Like, I like that kind of stuff. I like that's my thing. Is like, I'm terrible at shooting. I'm terrible when it comes to first person shooting, but when it's like, support and, sort of overall like, vision of the field, I can do that pretty good. So
it does, for people that really like to get into the experience, it does add an interesting level to it where you're like, oh, commander, I need some resources. Drop me something here. Or, hey, there's a bunch of guys over that ridge. Can you throw an airstrike on it? And you have to actually communicate with someone and request things, and they can also tell you like, oh, because they had modes where they could see a radar pass or something where they could see where other people were, and they'd tell you to go one place or another. So it has a lot of potential. A lot of times you'd find matches there where people weren't interested in doing it.
You'd have to primarily play with your friends, people who actually work together.
Well, you'd get a squad that wouldn't pay any attention, or you'd get nobody wanted to be the commander because they just wanted to shoot, and then the other team had one and you just got annihilated. Yeah. So there's some balance issues there where you got to have people willing to play the game right. But
all right. Well, I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah,
I want to blow some stuff up.
One of the other things coming out soon is the State of Decay expansion.
Oh, yeah.
That's coming out by the end of this month, they said. They don't have a solid date yet.
They haven't really announced much about it, though, have they? Other than, what's the name of it?
Breakdown.
Yeah. So, I guess it could be after you break down the wall, maybe? I don't know. I'm curious what you could add to that experience from what we already played. I played through the entire single player, finished it completely. There's not a lot of compelling reason to go back and play it again.
Right.
It was fun, and by the end of it, it's one of the few games where I felt like I'd done exactly as much of that game as I wanted to play.
Okay.
But if they go to a new area, then if there's some new mechanics, maybe. But going back to that same thing, there's
some video footage if you're watching the stream.
Yeah. If you go back to that same place you already were.
That's a very polished version of the video. There's a lot more vertical tearing in the actual game than is being portrayed in this.
Yeah.
That game kind of felt like it was sort of unfinished to begin with.
Yeah.
There was a whole area you get to where it just like, all right, well, they started to make this.
Yeah, I feel then a lot of the instruction about how to do things and even some of the gameplay mechanics were like, why would I want to do that?
Yeah.
Like, the rewards weren't built in. Like,
Well, wasn't it going to be a full retail game, and then they pared it down to make it an arcade release?
oh really?
That's what I heard too.
Yeah.
I think initially, there was also going to be like online co-op and stuff.
It
but
felt
they,
pretty
they
extensive.
cut all of that.
Yeah, for an arcade title, it was pretty big.
No.
And it was enjoyable. I mean, we critique things, but like I honestly enjoyed it. I would recommend playing it. But yeah, I mean, they'd have to really have a good hook to make DLC
Make it make sense.
interesting. Yeah.
That's one of those games I missed out on. I haven't played it at all yet.
It's still there waiting for you, Jack.
It'll
come back
that
anytime.
and the Pokemon games. I need to check those things out.
I mean, that's a whole other level of
A
commitment.
whole other realm.
Yeah.
I also saw that. I guess this is about to go.
Okay.
Keep an eye on it.
I got it. It's like Indiana Jones.
The,
Wait, do we have to read another thing when this?
No, we're good. That I guess there was a Kickstarter for a game called City of Titans, which is a fan-made revival of City of Heroes. Flip. So I guess people who were fans of City of Heroes when it got
The
shut
MMO.
down, started working on a fan-made version of it. And
That was a fun game.
Yeah, it was. And there's they've successfully had a Kickstarter to raise money to build this.
Wait, so you mean they successfully started the Kickstarter, or they've successfully completed?
They've hit their Kickstarter goal.
Okay.
They hit $320,000. I'm not sure what it's at now. Let me see.
320. That's it.
Yes, that's the other thing I was going to talk about.
That's a lot. Where it's
For an
not
MMO?
much for an MMO.
So in the Kickstarter, they break down what they want to do with the money, and they talk about buying software, buying hardware, licensing, but they never talk about actually paying anybody.
Oh man, that's
So I mean, are they just trying to literally repurchase the City of Heroes servers and get them back online?
I don't think they can do that. But they talk about like, paying for Maya, paying for like all the different tools that they need, the cut that their different payment processors take, but they never talk about actually.
See, that's the thing.
Anyway. So here it is. So the taxes, the cut to Amazon and Kickstarter, they're leasing. Or sorry, not leasing. What do you call it? Licensing Unreal Engine.
Ooh, that's not cheap.
Yeah, Maya, Max.
That's extremely not
ZBrush,
cheap.
Photoshop, Illustrator.
See, I would think a lot of those programs, if you're like a well-trained animator or artist or something like that, you would probably already own those things on your personal side.
No.
Yeah, but you wouldn't
Really?
use it. You wouldn't use that for
A
work.
Maya license is like $4,000.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, Jesus.
So it's not uncommon for an animator to just get it at the place they work and then not take it with them.
I did not know that.
A lot of
Depend-
animators
and-
would have.
And the licensing is extremely complex.
It is.
Depending on the type of license you have. So, we have Maya. We license Maya here for various projects that we do. The type of license we have allows the animator who works at it at his desk here to then have it installed on a personal laptop that he can use at home.
Has to
Okay.
be a laptop, though.
Yes, has to be a laptop.
Yeah.
Huh.
They have
That's
some-
interesting.
It's very weird
So
licensing.
I'm assuming there's also like versions, like there's like a student version that you can't sell something you produce.
There's
out of
a
it?
student
Okay.
version that the files are then not compatible with like real versions.
Okay.
Yeah.
Huh.
But I mean, it's one of those weird things where if you're an animator that wants to produce content around being at a studio,
Yeah.
It's hard.
a lot of times there's
There's nefarious
versions
ways.
that they
Yeah.
found.
Well, even now, like Adobe license all their products for $50 a month, right? Like that's amazing. Like if I was like learning something in school, if I was learning Photoshop or Premiere, $50 a month, like that's incredible.
Mm-hmm.
So
Oh, here's some City of Titans concept, I believe.
Oh wow,
all right,
that's my favorite crayon drawings.
So they're at $381,000 out of 320 with 25 days to go.
Oh, so they've hit their mark already.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, wow.
They hit their mark in 2 days, I think.
Jesus. Well, that's good for them.
So I think they said that ideally they want to launch, I think, end of next year.
Yeah. Well, the only video game one that I've seen that I'm really interested in is the Chris Roberts game, the Star.
Oh yeah, Star Citizen.
Star Citizen.
Yeah,
like they made $3.5 million or $4 million.
Oh yeah,
I thought it was more than that, wasn't it?
Was it $4.5 million? It was a lot.
I don't know what the final
money.
number is, but he hit a lot of stretch goals.
But they're already seeing stuff now. Like I mean, like they've already released it where you can walk around your hangar and
he did
check out your
kind
vehicle.
of just a, I guess, beta.
Yeah,
sort of.
But I mean, almost like an alpha. It's kind of like okay, like here's something, here's your ship, But that I like that idea of like having like here's my hangar and here's my ship, like that was some of my favorite stuff in Star Wars: The Old Republic is like you had your own ship, and like I always wanted them to be able to like modify it and kind of make it your own personal one. They didn't really do that, unfortunately.
They added. There's a new expansion coming out. Do you know about it?
Yeah, they're doing space battles now.
Yeah,
right?
it's. I think the new expansion is called Galactic Fighter.
Okay.
And it's going to allow for 12v12 spaceship battles.
Oh, that's cool. See, my thing when I really got into Star Wars was I was excited by the idea of like we had a guild. We had a guild of like how many were in our guild? Like
a lot of
like 600, whatever the cap was. We nailed it. And I think we had another guild. Like we had our dark guild and a light guild. And for a while they hinted at the idea of like basically starships for your guild. So like a guild base that would
sort
be
of like Eve.
Yeah, but it'd be like imagine like piloting a starship with 300 guild members all like doing something, like having a space battle.
Lasers and
like just I mean that to me like holy shit, that would be incredible.
It'd be awesome if you had like personal spacecraft and you could fly like a Protoss carrier, where it's like everyone on the ship on the big ship gets out and flies little fighters or gets on a laser turret.
Yeah, you got like two guys operating one turret, like a giant turret, and then you've got like smaller ships that fly out, and it's like and then like it's like a whole bridge with like a captain and like the communications, like all these different things. That's what I wanted to see. That to me, like when they said like guilds in Star Wars, I'm like that's what I want. I want to Star Destroyer. I can fly around.
Guild actions in space.
And like and that way, like if you had a massive guild that was communicating with each other, like you could really do some damage. You know, where it's like instead of just like we got 5 guys that do quests together, it's like this is actually something serious. And we haven't seen that yet in any sort of major release. Or I mean, Eve, I know, like, but that's
Eve Online,
it's supposed to be incredibly complicated. I haven't
It's
played.
supposed to be also a grind.
Yeah.
It is a lot of grinding.
So Star Citizen hit $2.1 million.
2.1.
I'm really
Their
excited
goal
about
was
that.
500,000.
Well, no, it hit 2.1, but they also had off-site stuff. Like for
yeah,
people-
this is simply on Kickstarter.
Yeah. So I want to say they hit over 4 million total, and so they had some really like cool things you could do with that.
That genre of the space fighter game was so popular, 10, 15 years ago.
Longer than that, shit. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, when did Descent come out? I remember Descent was like
Free Space 2.
Descent was like 95, I think.
Yeah, those are some of my favorite games.
Free Space 2, it was definitely on a CD, but it was... I'm trying to remember if it was CD or DVD, because that kind of helps date it. But
I think it was CD, dude.
I think it was CD,
It was
too.
old as shit.
It's interesting that Descent Free Space 2 has had a fairly long life after the fact as a mod base. I mean, there are people that made Battlestar Galactica mods based on that engine.
Really?
Yeah, and it's incredible what they've updated. There's even been people that made Wing Commander games based on that engine.
Descent gave me some fucking crazy-ass vertigo.
You're talking about like Descent 1
Yeah.
and 2? Yeah, when you were just in that...
When you were like in the mine.
You were like a
and the
space
robots,
buoy, really.
Yeah, and it was just like looking around all
Getting
crazy.
so
I was
lost.
like, I would get such fucking
I just remember
terrible
like
headaches.
the first time you hit like Q and you roll your ship, it's like, oh god, like this adds a whole other layer to it.
Welcome to three-dimensional space.
Well, even like Descent 1 and 2, it was all encapsulated. Like there was no open space. There was no point where you could just hit and just fly. It was always in a mine or something.
Yeah, that's why I was always okay with like the X-Wing series and X-Wing versus TIE Fighter, because they weren't enclosed. It's like, it was a huge battle. It doesn't matter. Obviously, you're in space.
Yeah.
It wasn't as easy to like fuck with my inner ear.
Yeah. I played all the Wing Commander games. I love those. I'm looking forward to Star Citizen a lot. I mean, even my Xbox Live username is actually named after a character from Wing Commander 3.
Really?
Yeah.
Huh.
It was the call sign of one of the characters in Wing Commander 3.
That's cool.
Yeah.
I did not know that. I've always tried to figure out where the hell your Xbox Live gamer tag
Ben
came from.
Mod Vagabond.
Wow. Why do you know that?
I know everything.
All right.
You encapsulate all the knowledge. in the universe.
Because it's a reference to the Maw from Halo.
That is correct, yeah.
Is it really?
Yeah. That was this guy. The guys I played Halo with back in college, that was the team name whenever we would compete was Ben Mod, after the Maw in Halo 1.
Huh. I'll be damned.
The more you know.
The more you know, indeed. Star.
So I also read that Sony confirmed that the DualShock 4 controller will work in Windows. With basic
limited
functionality.
Limited
Yeah.
functionality.
So
Well, of
who
course.
cares?
I wonder if it'll be wireless or if it'll be like wired in USB Mini.
It's Bluetooth, so I imagine
Bluetooth?
it's...
Okay.
I mean, the basis of the controller is Bluetooth, right?
Xbox 360 wireless controller doesn't work with PC, does it? You have to be wired.
Yeah, you have to wire it in.
Yeah,
So-
well,
I think
no, you can't even wire it in. It has to be a wired controller. Like a charge kit doesn't
Yeah, it
actually
doesn't work.
transmit
I thought they
information.
made like a receiver station you could buy.
Oh,
No, that may be true, yeah.
I think you're
like
right.
it's like a USB thing that plugs in, then it connects to that.
But still, it wasn't like a built-in Bluetooth connection.
Yeah,
you had to have
yeah.
a special receiver for it.
And then
Yeah.
the next Xbox controllers are going to be different too, like because the Xbox 360s won't work with the Xbox One. So I wonder if they're just going to be modifying again, or if it will be more PC friendly this time.
I wonder if
right
there'll
out of the
even be a
box.
wired version of the Xbox One controller. There may not be.
I imagine there has to be in some sort of capacity, just for some places that can't have like signal transmission. I don't know. I
Is that a
imagine.
thing?
Well, I mean, that's the thing. Like, people freak out. Like, oh, you can't make an Xbox that has to connect to the internet because there's people who don't have internet. And it's like, well, is that really a thing? And
Is
it's
there like an area where Bluetooth just doesn't function?
Wait, what if you're on like a plane and you can't have wireless devices?
yeah? See, there you go. Boom.
I don't know. I'm grabbing at straws here, dude. I'm trying to imagine a scenario where you need it.
You've got your tray table folded down. You've got your games case
Games.
flopped up on there.
Yeah.
And then that's your one issue is you can't get
Dude, if
far
you're-
enough back to...
If you're in first class, there's probably enough room for that. Dude, think about that. Think if you're the asshole in first class, like on like a transatlantic flight, like with a games case and playing Grand Theft Auto while flying in a plane.
I'm totally gonna do that.
Oh,
You fucking inspired me.
You better. I want to see photos of this setup. I want to see you sitting there.
I already fucking played the flight simulator.
You could be flying in
That's
Grand
true.
Theft Auto, flying a jet in Grand Theft Auto 5 while in a jet in real life.
Do they do something in GTA 5 where they cripple? I don't know what I'm saying. Does the game do something where it cripples your aircraft after you've flown for a certain amount of time?
Yes, and single
What?
player at least, if you aren't maxed out flying, you will eventually lose your engines. They'll just die on you.
Yeah, because
Really?
Yeah.
Never had that happen.
I've maxed out flying with Franklin, and he has his own like attack chopper.
Yeah.
The other day I was flying, and all of a sudden like the engine started sputtering, and the rotor stopped.
Huh.
With
I wonder if it
Franklin?
just runs out of
Yeah.
gas.
And I was like, "What the fuck?" And then it sputtered back on. I was like, "Oh shit, I better land." And I started going for the ground. And right before I was able to land, it died. And I lived through the crash. But
I mean, apparently fuel is a thing to some extent because you can punch a hole in a car's fuel tank and drive it till it runs out, and it will just stop going after all the gas leaks out. So maybe there's some kind of fuel component there.
The Mythbusters, GTA 5 Mythbusters did a thing where they drained a car full of fuel and then it won't explode.
Yeah,
no
that was
gas
the
in
myth
tank.
was that it won't explode.
Man, that's crazy that Rockstar would think of that kind of stuff.
well, they've got to keep track of volume, I guess, if they're keeping track of
Yeah.
the car not being able to move anymore.
It's really weird.
Yeah, I don't know.
And I guess I don't think that happens unless you happen to shoot a hole in it.
Yeah, I felt like a lot of the MythBuster stuff in that video was kind of common sense, though.
I mean, some of it is. Some of it's interesting.
I was like, okay, of course, a helicopter's going to get hit by the wind turbine in the wind farm. It's like,
yeah. Well, I know those guys do. Those guys do a good job. Like, I like their videos.
yeah,
lot.
though they've done some really crazy ones. I remember some of their old Call of Duty and
Yeah.
Halo ones. Where it's like, what was it on Call of Duty? They talked about trying to shoot a rocket.
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
if you could detonate an
hit
RPG.
hit one in air. We've seen enough fails of the week to know you can do that in Halo 4 at least.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. But I like those guys a lot. They're one of the cool YouTube guys. Yeah, there's just so much to that game. Do you know flip-flops flip in that game? Like when you're walking around in flip-flops, you can actually see them working properly.
Yeah,
That's damn.
that's a lot of detail.
Yeah,
for
that's-
something that most people probably won't even
No,
notice.
yeah, but then when you do know, it's like, God damn, that actually, and like when you step, you actually step on
Yeah, but
steps.
I remember the first game I was blown away by that, I think, was ODST.
Yeah.
When we were working on the commercial, I saw that the characters actually put their feet on steps and their feet articulated
Yeah.
when on the step. To
Instead
push
of
each
just
other up.
like
Right, instead of just
kind
like...
of floaty up the...
Right, and I was like, and I think we had like the cinematics director, who's the one who had brought down the game. I was like, do the feet actually articulate when you walk up steps? He's like, yeah. I was like, holy shit, that's crazy.
We've done it. We landed on the moon.
It's one of those things that only someone that's played a lot of video games and has seen that for so long would really be impressed with.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
You got feet? You got working feet?
Yeah, like I was super excited, and he was super happy. And it was like, if you're not like a serious a gamer who plays a lot, you're like whatever, man, doesn't matter.
Whatever, just running upstairs, no big deal. It's like, no, that's a huge deal, man. What's your favorite like mini game thing to do in Grand Theft Auto, or like job thing to do aside from golf?
Job, I'll do just about anything.
Like, do you like races more than anything?
I suck at races. So what I started doing is I'll bet on whoever is the highest level player. Then I'll just piss everyone else off. Like it'll be my purpose in that race to make sure that the person I bet on wins.
Nice.
Wow, you would lose a lot of money on me because a lot of times because we've been trying to boost, I'll be the highest level person in there. Not great.
No.
Well, my experience with racing
with help,
is that's the thing. My experience in racing is I go about 20 feet, someone rams me off the road, and then my game is over. Yeah. Like I will see those guys at the finish line.
Imagine me playing defense for you, ramming everyone else off the road.
I'll take it. Yeah, I need it. Honestly, I do.
Gus can be your fullback, basically, just knocking people down. Well, I like the GTA races. That's my favorite thing to do.
And no one plays them.
No one plays them.
Races? What are
GTA races, they add like rockets and boosters.
Oh, I might not be high enough level to play.
No, you go right from the beginning.
It's the competitive racing, or the combative racing,
where you can
shoot. That's because nobody plays it.
Yeah, you can actually pick up missile packs and fire at people.
Any of the race types can be flipped to GTA.
Yes, I know. I fucking got it right here. I'll read it.
Yeah, there's also rally car racing too. That's something we haven't done yet. I think we'll probably end up doing a Let's Play where rally car, your passenger sees checkpoints, but the driver doesn't.
Oh, that's
pretty cool.
Awesome.
Yeah, it's a cool idea. So you have to like yell at your driver to actually.
Or you can just set waypoints.
I kind of like the parachuting mini games where you have to like jump and go through the rings, especially if they allow weapons.
Oh yeah,
and you can pull out your gun and start trying to shoot at other people in the air.
Yeah, I watched a guy hit a bridge doing that. like I was in the lead and he was trying to catch me, so he just came hauling up behind me. But then he pulled back and just like skipped off a bridge and fell to his death.
I also like the. Oh man! So the other day I was playing the Top Fun game type where it's the jets have to chase the motorcycles. I finally got into a jet and I was playing against Gilby and we were in a party together. And Gilby was on a motorcycle. I was like, oh man, I'm so excited. I've never been in a jet before. He's like, oh really? I've been in them before. I was like, oh sweet. So I'm like, I get into the jet and I'm starting to take off and I'm like, how do you shoot missiles in this thing? He's like, oh, missiles are Y. I was like, okay, cool. So I take off. I'm at the end of the runway and I hit Y and it's eject. So I checked out the like, you motherfucker. So then I'm stuck like at the end of the runway. Luckily, I wasn't off the base yet.
That's good.
And there's no vehicles around there. So I have to run all the way back down the runway. And he's just laughing the whole way he's going down.
I will say the Top Fun one is a little busted because if you're in a motorcycle, I was playing today and it was me versus two guys and I just blew the shit out of the first guy like immediately. The other guy, what he did was he went and hid under a bridge. He got off his motorcycle, hid under a bridge and just sat there. And it's like at that point you just can't do anything because you can't fly underneath them, you can't shoot them. Like they're hiding enough where rockets won't touch them, and they'll sit there until you crash. And it's like, well, that's stupid. That sucks and takes away the fun out of the game. It's like, all right, well, fuck that.
You think there would be a timeout at some point?
You would think so, or like you can only be off.
There's got to be a time.
Yeah, or you can only be off the road for so long or something. But
Gilby said that also he played and he was on the motorcycle the other day. That he immediately turned around and jumped over the fence and was able to get back onto the military base and get in a jet.
Oh, really?
And then he flew it over the finish point, then jumped out and parachuted to win.
Nice.
All right.
Huh. All right,
so
I'll try that
be
too.
aware of that tactic.
A little broken.
Yeah.
It's work in progress.
There's a couple things I could fix with that. But yeah, there's something about the idea of chasing down motorcycles in a jet is just like, nah, that's awesome.
I was playing, and John Reisinger was fucking terrorizing me the other day.
Oh, really?
It's funny when you're driving down the street, then you see like a little speck in the distance, and all of a sudden it's just like missiles and a plane flying right over you.
Well, I remember the first time I dealt with a plane or with a jet. Well, I jumped into a free session, and Lester called me, and also so when you get a call, you just walk because you're on your phone, so you're just walking down the street. I'm like, dude, talking to Lester. He's like, oh, hey, come by my house, and I'll show you that you can put bounties on. Boom! And I just got it blown up, and a guy in a jet just like went. Just flew away from me. I was like, you son of a bitch. Like, I'd never seen a jet before, and he's destroyed me. I was like, well, all right. That was terrible. You should read your thing, Gus.
Let me read my thing here, because they're reminding me constantly in my earpiece. I want to remind everyone that this episode of The Patch is brought to you by Shadow Warrior, a bold reimagining of the classic first-person shooter from Flying Wild Hog and Devolver Digital. Bring a katana to a gunfight as Lo Wang clashes with the Yakuza that betrayed him and the demonic forces hell-bent on destroying our world. Available now on Steam, GOG, Get Games, and the Humble Store. GOG, that's good old games, right?
Good old games.
Okay, I never know how to say that. So then, of course, if you're not familiar, Michael did a rage quit in Shadow Warrior a couple weeks ago.
We did a This Is as well.
Yeah. Did we?
I think we did we? Maybe not.
No.
I don't know.
It's a fun game. It's a remake of an old mid-90s games, like around the Duke Nukem era.
Yeah, well, the original one actually ran on the Duke Nukem. Hey, there it is. It ran on the same engine as Duke Nukem. It was...
Yeah, you can see there. It's super gory.
Yeah, it is extremely gory. Very gory. Lots
of blood. The katana is the best part of that game. You can just hack everything to pieces.
Yeah, I think that's actually Michael doing rage quit there.
I think it's a rage quit video.
But yeah.
Well, hey, before I want to mention something from last week too. The Steambox stuff.
Yeah.
So a lot of the stuff that I was talking about last week, I was thinking more of the XI3 piston, which is kind of that little tiny box. So they've talked a lot more about it now, and I'm even less interested in it now.
Yeah, as I've learned more about it, like when I saw it back at South by Southwest, I thought it was a really cool idea. But same with you.
Yeah.
As I've read more throughout the week, I'm like, this doesn't actually sound.
So actually, the
that
piston, the company making the piston is completely just said, no, we're not a Steam machine anymore because we don't want to do Steam OS. And that's a valid point. I think Steam OS being Linux based is sort of a weird move.
Well, the question I've always had about that is a lot of things that require DRM don't work on Linux.
Yeah.
Natively without a lot of hacking around. So I wonder, this seems like it will be strictly a gaming box. Like you couldn't do Netflix.
It kind of seems like they probably had to do this whole idea of specific hardware. One, because Linux hardware support is hit or miss. So that's kind of a downer. Like, you can customize them. They are actually just basically PCs that you can swap out hardware. They've got anything from an i3 to an i7 in their test models.
And you have like a pared down list of stuff you can choose from that you can put in there.
But it's just a micro ATX form factor. That's what they basically made. They made a form factor and limited your hardware options. Yeah. And unlike your Xbox or your PS4, which I imagine that's who they're marketing this to, is console users, those consoles are subsidized by the game sales. So they're cheaper than they would be if you were just buying the hardware. And unless they're going to start marking up PC games, which right now they're $10 cheaper than your Xbox or PS4, you're going to have more expensive hardware that's not really attractive for any reason.
They'll just add $1 to all of those really cheap Steam games.
I hope not.
Like instead of a $5 game, it's $6. Like that's how we'll make it back.
There you go.
Or you can buy hats for your Steam machine.
Hey, now that's a business model that might work.
Yeah.
If Team Fortress 2 has taught us anything. So, no, I'm just more confused about it than ever, because I don't get it. I don't see who would be in the market for that device.
Yeah, the thing that got me about the piston was that the video card's really not that great in it.
Yeah, that's really underpowered. In fact, that's probably part of the reason that they're also separating from this whole idea, is because they're not up to the minimum power specs, I don't think.
So, I mean, I'd be okay with a true Steam machine if it had enough power to run games well.
Which I've also heard, I think I read somewhere, that the CAD file for their form factor would be made available.
Yeah.
So you could just make your own if you happen to have a 3D printer somewhere.
Sitting on your desk.
But, I mean, it's expensive hardware or just the same price that you could build a full tower for, and it's on Linux, so it's not going to be... Well, I mean, they brought gaming to the Mac, was one of their things they did a while back. You tell me, how is gaming on the Mac compared to if you were to have the same titles on the PC?
It's fine. Given the opportunity, if the title's available on both, I'll play it on the Mac because that's what I'm in most of the time.
But how
the frustration
often is it
I face
available?
is that lots of times games don't get ported.
Yeah.
Or it takes a long time. And it's like by the time it gets ported, I don't want to play it anymore.
I mean, I can only imagine they're either going to try and convince developers to develop for Linux, which is going to be rough.
What if?
Yeah?
What if? Here we go.
No, do it. Hit me.
What if Steam OS has, as part of the operating system, on-the-fly virtualization?
That was what I was going to say. They either have to do that, or they have to virtualize Windows environment in there to make it compatible.
Because if it's a very tiny subset of hardware,
Yeah.
and they're willing to give, if they're controlling the operating system and they write the middleware virtualization, they could give it direct access to the hardware, which is what you don't see most of the time, like in Parallels on the Mac.
Yeah.
Since they're in control of the whole ecosystem, theoretically they could give it direct access and eliminate that overhead you get.
Which would be nice, yeah. If they can do that, then maybe it'll see. But, I mean, none of the small developers, in which Steam is very open to that whole independent developer thing, and none of the indie developers, I would imagine, would want to publish something that was Linux.
No, but they would publish their Windows version. And
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, they would.
SteamOS
You're not going to win developers over to Linux. So the virtualization is kind of the only thing they can do, and they got to do it right, or it's not going to work.
I haven't used the current Steam on Linux. Like, what games are available on there? Is it just first-party Valve stuff?
I don't know either.
Yeah, I haven't gamed on a Linux machine. Have I ever gamed on a Linux? I don't think I've ever gamed on a Linux machine.
Jesus. Here's a fun story. 6 years ago today, the Orange Box came out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
That's pretty cool.
And that was the last update it got.
Yeah. It's the last time.
It's the last update Half-Life got.
Yep.
Yeah? Man, any day now. Episode 3.
Dude,
Don't give up hope.
It's crazy to think Team Fortress 2 is that old. They've done some cool patches to it recently.
And I remember back when people were waiting for Team Fortress 2 before people knew what the art style was like. It's like after Team Fortress 1, they made an announcement they were working on Team Fortress 2, and then nothing. Fucking radio silence, and then, here it is, it's coming out.
That went dark for a long time. It didn't, really, when did it get picked up?
Team Fortress was a Half-Life 1 mod.
Yeah.
So that must have been...
No, wait, was it? Or was it a Quake mod?
There was a Quake mod. I remember that.
Shit.
It may have bridged. It could have been both. Because my facts are a little fuzzy
Vamp,
right now.
I'm gonna look it up.
I wish there were more mods and stuff for like Grand Theft Auto. At least now the Grand Theft Auto,
Well,
you can
it
actually.
be.
What's on a console?
Yeah, but I mean, like it'd be cooler if I mean, it's kind of I'm kind of surprised. Like they do the game mode stuff where you have like here's like a new race, but it's like sort of like Halo where you could manipulate it enough to actually create your own kind of like game type. I wish you could do something like that
I
in Grand
think
Theft
they're
Auto.
gonna do that eventually, just because when you look at the online matchmaking, it says like your game type created by
Yeah.
Okay.
Rockstar.
Yeah.
Well, I've had a few times, and I don't know if you've seen this too, where the message has popped up saying user content is made available to you, but your settings don't allow it or something.
Yeah, I think
forget the
they just
exact
haven't
message.
released the tools yet.
Okay.
Well, I wonder why I'm even getting that message.
So Team Fortress was Quake Engine and was 96, and then Team Fortress 2 didn't come out until 2007, so it was an 11-year gap.
Jesus, that's crazy.
So I mean,
There's Team Fortress 2 if you're watching the stream
don't
right
lose
now.
hope. Do you think most TF2 players know what Team Fortress even looked like originally?
Oh, not at all.
Oh no, I wouldn't imagine so. I am curious though how much of that's a game. How much of the original crowd followed it that far?
Yeah.
Because it's nigh unrecognizable from what the original was.
Yeah.
Now, hats.
Hats are such a big deal. How much money do you think they've made off hats?
Enough to make the game free. I mean, they used to charge for it,
That's true.
and
That's
it's like there has to be an actuary table where they realized we make more money off of hats than we do off the sales of the game. If we just give everyone the game, we'll make even more money on hats. You know,
We've hit the point. We've hit the saturation point. So.
Combine very small priced microtransactions with all the peer pressure of everyone else having fancy hats.
Dude, the whole microtransaction thing, it blows my mind. Like people lost their shit. Anytime EA puts out a game that has microtransactions in it, people just lose their mind. It's like this is the worst thing in the world. Then Grand Theft Auto does it, and it's like, oh,
well,
it's
not there, is it?
Yeah, and well, not yet. But then like Team Fortress 2 is like built off microtransactions. Like, oh well, shh, be quiet. No one's paying attention. It's just like,
well, the whole thing is free. The Team Fortress 2 microtransactions are purely cosmetic.
Yeah.
and silly.
Well, you can get weapons too, I think, but a lot of the weapons are very unique and do perform differently.
Yeah.
But like Plants vs Zombies 2, like people lost their mind at that. It's like it's a free game, you don't have to pay for it, but people still like, oh well, they're making it where you can't play the whole game unless you pay money for it. It's like, it drives me crazy, and it's just I wish people, like they're so hypocritical in this kind of stuff. Where it's like, okay, if you have that thoughts and feeling towards microtransactions, do it across the board. Then I understand, but like people pick and choose what they want to hate, and it's like. EA has caught so much shit for that, and it's like they don't do it any more than anyone else does, and I'm sure I'm going to get my Twitter exploded now for people giving examples as to why microtransactions are bad and why video game companies making money are terrible.
Yeah, it's a generalization that.
There's that Sonic pre-order. What was it? You could pay extra money for DLC in the Sonic game and get like 15 extra lives.
Oh, really?
Come on, that's why people hate microtransactions and paying for a game. It's like you already have the full game, but for 15 more lives, pay $3.
Yeah,
there's certain.
But again, you don't
implementations of
have
that.
to do it though.
Yeah,
like
well,
it's
that's the
optional.
thing.
Like,
There's certain implementations of the microtransaction that make it not bad. Like I don't think Plants vs Zombies is bad. That's actually a good implementation of it. It's the thing where it's like, oh well, if you want the full game, if you ever feel like you need to pay money to get the full game experience after you already paid for a title, that's really obnoxious.
But again, give me some examples of that.
Well, that's the thing is that I feel like is something that happened early on, and I can't even think of a good example.
I can think of a
generalization.
Good example. The DLC for Mass Effect 3 where you got the Prothean. It's like his story is very critical to the game. And it's like a day one DLC that's obviously already on the disc.
Yeah.
And you have to pay like an extra $10.
So the problems they had with the initial implementation of that has just created this vitriol that no one likes the idea of it now. So it really soured the water for the implementations that are not so bad.
Yeah. But it's like the people like, if you want to pay money to unlock all the weapons day one, go for it. I have zero issue with that. It's like if I can unlock them,
that's like a pre-order bonus.
Yeah, it's like
pre-order at this retailer, get this gun. Pre-order at that retailer, get that gun.
Yeah, but if I can unlock them just through grinding, like okay, like if we can be on the same level, it's like you'll have an advantage for 2 weeks until I can make it to that level or whatever. But I have no problem with that at all. And I don't know.
Did you see the trouble that Microsoft got into again, talking about Xbox One.
Advertising.
Oh,
And advertising.
using Kinect to focus.
Yeah, about how the
whatever,
Kinect can look at people
We're
watching your
watching you.
advertisement and see how they're reacting to it.
Oh god.
He's not paying attention. Make it louder. Make it louder. No.
And the person who said it was their chief marketing and strategy officer. And they've since, of course, had to come back from it, saying that it's not something they're doing, and that nobody's working on that.
Man,
It's like, come on, just get your message
no
together.
kidding, man. Like Microsoft marketing is just like they can't. Like the foot is now in their esophagus and like choking them to death.
Yeah, it was a speech during the Association of National Advertisers, Masters of Marketing Conference.
Well, is that one of the things that just comes out of the internet age where one person can say, he probably was just spitballing going, hey, that's available. Like there's technology in these rooms. Like that's a possibility. It's a thing that could happen. And then it explodes into Xbox is watching you. Like they're in your home. And they could be.
Yeah.
I mean, that is an option available to them, but that doesn't mean they're doing it.
Yeah, I don't know. For me, it's like, now that the Kinect is not required, like I'm not going to plug my Kinect in. It'll be in the box in a shelf, wherever I choose to put it. But
I saw that an article saying that Sony was considering bundling the Eye with PS4.
Oh, yeah?
But they decided not to for cost reasons, saying that down the road they may end up doing it.
Okay.
Once the price on developing the hardware.
Yeah, my other thing is like I understand the reasoning behind putting Kinect in every machine because every developer knows a base that everyone will have. Like every developer developing for the Xbox One will know that everyone has a Kinect, no matter what. And so, I mean, that was like their issue with the Xbox 360. It was like, they had to develop for people who had hard drives, people who didn't have hard drives, and like work around that. It's like, okay, that really severely limits you because you have to develop for the lowest common denominator. Now everyone is on that same level.
But when you're talking about developing for the Kinect, you're talking about a specific peripheral that has already kind of proved that nobody wanted.
Yeah.
I mean...
Maybe it's because the hardware wasn't up to what it could have been.
Honestly, I think more than anything, they came up with a user experience... this whole thing of being able to move windows and doing that. And they couldn't, that was the easiest way to control it. And so they were dependent on that for most of their UI interface. And now they kind of are stuck with it. I still think eventually we'll see a version that doesn't have the Kinect button anymore. I think the
Xbox One Arcade or something like that. We'll see.
No, I could see them backing off with a hard drive before I could see them backing off.
Really?
Oh, really?
Yeah.
See, I think with all the cloud stuff they want to do, like the hard drive is going to be in no matter what.
Right, that's why they wouldn't need it. Just have a small cache for the cloud purposes.
Well, there you go.
We're out. All right.
No more sand. No
we're
more
out of
talking.
time. The sand's gone.
The sand is gone.
We are done with the patch this week.
As are the days of our lives.
Watch us again on Monday for another episode of the Rooster Teeth Podcast, and again next Wednesday for another episode of the patch.
All right.
Bye.
Bye, Internet. It's fun.